Hello, and welcome to Unity of Las Vegas. My name is Jim Lee, and I'm the spiritual leader here, and I'm so glad you are joining us. If you're here for the very first time, heartfelt, sincere welcome. And just want you to know that we are a community of love, in love, by love. And you are here, not here by accident. You are here so that you can experience the flow of love. And so if we had a particular message, it would be this: there is one presence and there's one power in the universe, and it's love, and love wins. So thank you for being here. This message that we have for you today is designed to lift you up in a particular way to support you during these, I would call these challenging, unprecedented times. But before we get into that, our process is simply this. We have a song today by our very own John Jones, and the title of of his song is Labyrinth of Your Soul. And then I have a message, and then Lisa will bring it on home with the meditation. So here we are, ready to begin. Thank you for joining us. And I would say that the number one thing here for today is this: Soul Labyrinth, the journey within through prayer.
Hi, friends. When I began as a director of music for Unity many years ago and in another place, I was given this very Wings of Song hymnal to use for the Sunday morning services. It was introduced by James Dillett Freeman, who had been the vice president of the Unity School of Christianity and was serving as the director of Silent Unity. Some of the hymns in this songbook were favorites of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, the beloved founders of the Unity movement. And for our seasoned friends, likely some of yours, certainly some of mine. When Reverend Jim and Lisa stated that the message for today would be about the journey within through prayer, I wanted to write a song which harkens to the hymns in this beautiful songbook. Those of you who know me well also know that I like groovy music. So here's a groovy new hymn called Labyrinth of Your Soul. I hope you enjoy.
You are still and know the quiet of your mind. Release, let go the thoughts that interfere. It might take a little work to raise the bucket from the well, but the garden will be wiser and the flowers bloom so dear. There is a sacred temple, a far-off mystic place, which lights a path for guidance, transformative and whole. The light is Christ within, the temple is your heart, and the journey is the labyrinth of your soul. The labyrinth of your soul. As you take each tender step along the way, release your fears and know you're not alone. There are others on this path, guides and kindred souls, to help you and support you on this treasured journey home. For what was once without has now become within, where the songs of spirit melodies still float. A map unfolds to guide the path, the heartbeat of the world. Kindred lovers bravely hold the cosmic note. are still and know the quiet of your mind. Release, let go the thoughts that interfere. It might take a little work to raise the bucket from the well, but the garden will be wiser and the flowers bloom so dear. There is a sacred temple, a far-off mystic place, which lights a path for guidance, transformative and whole. The light is Christ within, the temple is your heart, and the journey is the labyrinth of your soul. The light is Christ within, the temple is your heart, and the journey is the labyrinth of your soul. 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 The labyrinth of your soul.
There was a story that came out of the Soviet Union many years ago about a Russian who stood on a street corner in Moscow, and he was shouting, "Down with Nikita Khrushchev." And at the time, he was the premier of all of the Soviet Union. And because of that, sure enough, the secret police came and took him away and put him in prison for 10 years. While he was in prison, he had a change of heart. He says Khrushchev wasn't all of that bad. So after 10 years, he got out and he got back on that same street corner, and he says, "Nikita Khrushchev was a great leader. He's absolutely outstanding." Well, the problem was Khrushchev by then was deposed from office and publicly denounced, and the man was sent away again for another 10 years. Well, where I look at this is there's something that happened, and that is this man got carried away and his timing was off. I just want you to know, timing is everything. So today, what time is it? What's the time? Well, there's one thing on the spiritual domain. It's time to get in sync and in harmony with life. And also it's in harmony with the season. For as you see, we are falling into the fall season, and the daylight time is getting shorter and shorter, and the nights are getting longer and longer, and we're looking for more light. So what time is it? Well, it is time, like John Jones said in his song, it is time to go towards the Christ light within, since the light outside is not very long. This is an inner reflective time. What time is it? It's time to go in, to gather our forces, to gather insight. With everything that's going on outside, we need the strength from within so that we can handle what's going on. Well, the way that we get there, the way we take this path to go within to this wonderful, silent, secret, potent place within each and every one of us is through this thing called prayer. And I would say that prayer comes in many forms. All of it really works. When I was growing up, I had a particular way of praying, and then I would get down on my knees and I would fold my hand every night and I would pray to God. That really set up a wonderful ritual, and that's still good. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's another way to pray, though, and that is in unity. We call it affirmative prayer. And this affirmative prayer is designed to get us in sync, in alignment, and in harmony with ourselves, but also with the divine. And so we say an affirmation, which is a declaration of truth. So we're going to start this off as we're taking a look at this soul's journey through prayer. And it is this: I am awake to my spiritual path within. I am awake to my spiritual path within. This backs up by the title for today is the Soul Labyrinth, the journey within through prayer. Now, as we take a look at this, I want to call it the Soul Labyrinth, which is a mystical journey inside. The labyrinth is a perfect metaphor for this. I know most of you have walked a labyrinth, but if you haven't, a labyrinth looks like a maze, but it is not. For you see, a maze has all kinds of dead ends in it, and you could possibly lose your way. But the labyrinth takes you directly to the center, even though it goes all the twists and turns. And then once you get to the center, the labyrinth takes you right back out to the outer edges. And that's what we want to do here today. We want to take this life that we have and on the outside and everything that's going on, but then we want to travel inside through prayer, through all of the twists and turns so that we can access the essence and then we can take it back on the outside. Now, this journey that we're taking is really about wholeness, to bring us into a whole relationship with the divine. This mystical prayer, if you will, it guides us to this wonderful place that's within us, but it's special. This is where the infinite presence of the Almighty resides within us. Saint Teresa of Avila, in her autobiography, The Life of Saint Teresa of Jesus, she outlines 4 stages of this mystical prayer, and it is recollection, quiet, union, and ecstasy. I like this. Let's take a look at this. Recollection. It's a simple process of just remembering. Quiet, that's about relaxing and surrendering to the divine. Union is all about alignment, being at one, being in a tune, and it's called at-one-ment or atonement. And ecstasy, which is the heart connecting with the oneness, and we become inseparable, and it is blissful, and it's absolutely wonderful. That's the goal. That's the goal. And this mystical prayer now, we're aligning ourselves so that we can go within, so then we could get in touch and then come back out. Remember now, this is our process and this is what we're up to. So the mystical prayer that I'm saying, the first thing I want us to do is pick a mantra. Pick a word, short phrase or prayer that is firmly rooted in your particular belief system. So we're starting off this mystical prayer with a mantra. It could be something like, love is always there, love always wins, or God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. Or if you're from the Course in Miracles, you may say something like, nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. And if you're not that very religious, you can say, love wins. Take this and you say it over and over again as we begin this mystical prayer, and then we relax. There's only one presence, there's only one power, and it's God, and we just relax. Relax our bodies, especially our head and neck, and we just relax for a moment. Then we breathe slowly and take in a positive attitude. And what we want to do is release and let go of everything. Like a friend of ours, his name is Jeff Carrera, he does this no problem meditation. So I want us to start off with our affirmation, declaration, our mantra, then relax. And then if anything comes up, we're going to say, you know what? I don't have a problem with that. And if you still have a problem with the fact that you have a problem, don't have a problem with that either. You just want to relax and no problem. It reminds me when I went to Jamaica and over and over again, I would hear people will say, no worries, no worries. So take a moment when we do this mystical prayer and don't bring the baggage from the past or the conditions that you may be facing on the outside. For a moment, you're just going to relax and just say, no problem, no worries. And this is a wonderful way to set up what's next, and that is be open and receptive to guidance. Guidance comes in that moment when we are open and receptive to experience everything that is. So in this wonderful time now, we are creating what I would call this opportunity, special moment. And just remember, there's no right and wrong to this. The journey on this path is profound because it is heart-centered. Oh, yes. Prayer is so powerful because it connects us with God through the heart, through this infinite power. And now, I admit that when I first took a look at this, I said, I don't know if God always answers prayers. It seems as though I would say, God, I don't want to say this, but sometimes, God, I want to say, are you asleep at the wheel? Sometimes I want to say, God, come on, wake up. Don't you understand finances? Don't you understand how things work here? And then I say, don't you really hear me? I know you probably have said that as well. Well, St. Teresa of Avila has a wonderful statement that I like, and she says, if the heart has heard the prayer, God has heard the prayer. I want to say that again. If the heart has heard the prayer, God has heard the prayer. The act of prayer and the turning toward God in love is absolutely transformational. And it's time to follow that path as it creates an alignment for a wonderful opportunity for alignment. So what we really want now is in this process for not our will to be done, for I would say doing it our way, is we really want to be in an alignment with the divine plan that's already within us, that's ready to come forth so that we can be a part of the evolutionary impulse that is present now. But in order to bring that forth, we have to get renewed and refreshed inside, and this is the time to do that. This is a heart-centered way of bringing forth something magnificent that's already there. So remember, we are what I would call DITs, and that is divinity in training, and we're becoming relaxed more and more with the one, as the one. And what we really want is to stay focused. Love is all there is. Relax our bodies. Relax our mind. Breathe in. There are no problems. It's only God. Everything that goes on is a manifestation of the divine, and we're willing to see it. We're now open and receptive, and that means every cell in our body now has ears and ready to hear and receive and be present to the magnificence of God that is everywhere and talking to us right now. What time is it? I want to let you know what time it is. My God, it's a fantastic time to be alive. That's the time. And so now as we open ourselves to this, Lisa now will share some wonderful inspirational words that will have us experience this fantastic time to be alive.
When I was working with the youth at Renaissance Unity, I had the privilege of creating labyrinths for children for a sacred ceremony that we called Advent Garden. So each one of the children would walk along the spiral of evergreens, and they'd be carrying their own unlit candle. And at the center of this spiral, there would be an angel who lit their candle for their journey back. It was a ceremony entirely without words. It was done in silence, with the exception of the sound of a beautiful harp playing in the background. And as I'm describing this to you today, I am still deeply moved and really quite a bit in awe of the reverence that even the 3-year-olds were able to hold for this ceremony. There's something archetypically sacred about a spiral that's in our cosmic DNA. Spirals are a form of sacred geometry dating back billions of years. In fact, we are actually living inside of one, the Milky Way galaxy, which is 106,000 light years in diameter, if you can imagine that. Spiritually, the spiral represents a connectivity with the divine, spiraling from the outer ego or the outside world into the inner soul of cosmic awareness and enlightenment. The spiral represents evolution and the growth of spirit. It's a symbol of change and development. Every now and then, I find myself having a frustrating experience. Now, many of you might be able to relate to this. Certain life lessons that I thought that I had learned seem to be coming back around and repeating themselves. But the wisdom of the spiral is that regardless of appearance, love through the evolutionary impulse is always moving us forward. It is always learning. And we are not the same as we were even a second ago. And so it's not possible for anything to truly be repeated. There's a beautiful quote that says, "Your life is not a circle that is always a certain distance from the center. Your life is a spiral, an inward spiral. Sometimes an upward spiral and some other times downward, but always a spiral nonetheless. You're always moving towards your center, always." So let's take this sacred journey of the spiral from the outer world to the inner world together through meditation. I invite you to find a comfortable way to sit, removing anything that you may have from your lap, or in the comfort of your home, you could either be laying down, whatever will bring you into a comfortable way of being with your body. And begin to take some deep breaths in and out, focusing on this exchange of air that is flowing out and flowing into your body. Breathing in this gift of air from the earth and exhaling your gift of air to the earth. And just be conscious of this exchange back and forth and the oneness that this creates. And allow this connectivity to expand and see yourself breathing in alignment with the rhythm of the whole universe. And now imagine yourself inside of the Milky Way galaxy. Breathe in the expansiveness of this galaxy. All 106,000 light years wide. Allow the boundaries between you and the galaxy to become permeable and breathe as the galaxy itself. You are both yourself and the entire galaxy at the same time. Now imagine yourself taking a journey from the outer edges of this galaxy, spiraling inward towards the center. And sense the support of the entire universe in this venture. And notice as you travel that the outer awareness, any images or sensory experiences from the outer begin to soften. And as you approach the center of the spiral, feel its warmth reaching out to greet you. When you are ready, enter into the silence of the center of your being. Enter into this living silence. Allow yourself to be in this living silence that is both you and the universe. That is both the center of your being and the center of the universe. Sense into the sufficiency that is here. The enoughness. Sense the warmth. Sense the light. And experience this beautiful cosmic cradling inside of the arms of the Beloved. Rumi says silence is the root of everything. If you spiral into its void, 1,000 voices will thunder messages you long to hear. Allow yourself to be in the fullness of this wisdom, this deep knowingness that is so far beyond answers to questions. Take another breath here and allow this space to become a new lens. The lens through which you view the world as you now move forward through your day. For this is the way, it really is.
Thank you, Lisa. Rumi quote, "Silence is the root of everything. if you spiral into its void, 1,000 voices will thunder messages you long to hear. Breathe that in. Yes. Thank each and every one of you for joining us today, and please join us immediately following the service for our, what I would call our special fellowship time. Now you can register on the website, or you could take a look at the message column to be able to tune in for us. We'd really like for you to share your thoughts with us about today or just in life in general. Our whole goal is really to build a wonderful community for you. So if this service has supported you in any kind of way, I'm inviting you to join with us again next Sunday and tune in maybe even on a Wednesday for our weekly midweek inspiration with Don. Share this video with your families and friends and co-workers if you think that it can inspire or touch them in any kind of way. The last thing is, since you are here supporting us, continue to pray with us, for us, and also financially contribute. There's multiple ways you can do it via the phone, text, click on our website to be able to contribute in any kind of way. Just want you to know that who you are makes a difference, and everything that you give allows us to be here for you. And in closing, I really like our prayer for protection. If you would join in with me. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is there, and all is well. God bless you. See you next week.
When you are still and know the quiet of your mind, release, let go the thoughts that interfere. It might take a little work to raise the bucket from the well, but the garden will be wiser and the flowers bloom so dear.